I'm really enjoying this book so far, Christ, the Ideal of the Monk. I think it's very helpful for those who simply, I would say, look up to the monastic ideal without necessarily being monks. I've said it before in previous videos. It's my experience as somebody that's been a monastic the best part of 7 years. That it's actually harder in the world today. In so many ways, it's the easy option to be a monk in so many ways. Without, and that's not to denigrate monastic life. It's a rare privilege, but the monks come together to make it easier for themselves to pursue the ideals of perfection, the evangelical counsels of poverty, chastity, and obedience. And why those? To perfect love, to perfect the love of God. Si reveras query, I'm not going to do the Latin, but if you truly seek God, that's how this book starts. If you truly seek God, that's how the prologue of the Rule of St. Benedict starts. That's the precondition. I find in the modern world, and I've found for years now coming out of monastic life, that people are so fragmented in the modern world that purity of intent is almost non-existent. You know, seeking God, but seeking a million other things along with it, along with Him. This doesn't work, say the saints. We must, if we truly want to experience union with God and be one with God, we must seek Him with all of our heart and cry with the saints. This book is saying all of these things. I'm not making it up myself. You know, can we say with the saints, my God and my all? You know, Don Columbian Marmion says here, he says, what is the goal of human life but union with God? And if we don't fulfill that goal, we may be like a gold-studded watch, diamond-studded, Rolex, whatever it be, and yet we fail to tell the time. How sad, how tragic. We are completely frustrated in our ontological being of what we were made to be. We may have nice hair, nice biceps, nice triceps, nice thighs, whatever it be, and yet we don't fulfill the meaning of our lives. This is the tragedy of the modern age, that we have more than we've ever had. The supermarkets, the way we eat, we have more choices than ever before, and yet people are miserable, anxious, full of regret, full of anger, full of agitation, unable to sit still, unable to seek God with all their heart, soul, and strength. Something powerful I drew from this in the first few pages. No postcode is going to stop you from seeking God and finding Him if you seek Him with all your heart. One can say, well, I don't live anywhere near an Orthodox church. No postcode is going to stop you from finding the God who is in all things, who holds all things in existence. Who, as St. Thomas puts it, God is in all things, in His presence, in His essence, and in His potency, in His power, upholding all things. But Don Columbia Marmion says in the first few pages, God doesn't just want us like have a metaphysical presence of God, some kind of rational idea of God in our heads from time to time. If you're an RE teacher, that's easy because you're always in the things of God, but that doesn't make you holy. So what is it that truly unites us to God? Not just our ideas of God or our ideas of holiness. The saints warn us, be careful reading about the holiness and thinking you've attained it just because you've read about it. So what is it that brings it to us, what unites us to God, love, our desire for God. If we truly seek the face of God, as the psalmist says, seek the face of God always, the personal encounter, the love of God, then we will find, no matter what postcode we're in, and I would argue no matter what church we're in, and even what religion we're in, or lack of it, if we truly seek God, God will show up for us. Don't hold on, says Don Columbia Marmion, and he's quoting from St. Catherine of Siena, from many saints. Don't hold on to creatures, pure or impure. Don't hold on to persons. I need God and my spiritual father. I need God and my best friend. I need God and my local parish. I'm not saying these things are sinful, and neither is the author, but seek God first, and in seeking anything else, God must be at the forefront. What am I seeking in opening another bottle of beer in the sunshine? What am I seeking in allowing my eyes to follow a certain trajectory in the high street? What am I seeking as I indulge in melancholic thoughts of my future or my past? You know, if we trade in the search for God, the desire for God, for becoming an acolyte, a reader, a deacon, a subdeacon, you name it, there's a rung for you. A priest, bishop, archbishop, cardinal, pope. If that's what we're seeking alongside the love of God, alongside God, then our desire becomes worthless. It becomes tainted, and we become worldlings with a fractured will, scattered in a million directions. Purity of intent. That's what I miss about monastic life. Honing and refining the purity of intent. I've worked in Catholic schools. There's no purity of intent. The will is fractured in 1,000 directions. My career, my ambitions, my targets, my opinions, me and mine against you and yours. And there's not that purity of intent. I've worked in the NHS, I've worked in nursing over COVID, the same. Career takes over, money, me and mine against you and yours. But that's the ideal of the monk that Don Columbia Marmion's waking up, stoking up in this first chapter. I believe it's possible for us so-called lay people to do it. You know, in the earliest church, there were no lay people. Everybody's the people of God, the body of Christ. We're all called to holiness and perfection of life. It's just that some platforms are easier to get there, perhaps, because there's less BS in the way. But as a monk said to me the other day, you know, God works through the obstacles. If you've got obstacles in your life, that's where God is working, you know, refining you, sharpening you, strengthening you, calling you out of those obstacles. Forgive me, this is a beautiful book that I've just started to whet my appetite with, as it were. Leads straight into prayer, a great classic work of Roman Catholicism. I did a video already on this, but let's just look at the table of contents, where it goes. So to seek God, that's where I've been. The following of Christ, the abbot as Christ's representative, the cenobitical community. So community life. I mean, that's going to be useful to a family man, to somebody that wants to be committed to a parish. You're never going to get that kind of perfection of community in a parish because people don't want it. But something, and that might be right for you. Starting point and twofold character of monastic perfection. The monastic profession, loads on that. Good works, how do works come into the mix? The Opus Dei, the divine praise. So this is the choir, the chanting of the psalms throughout the day, the prayers that are said. Opus Dei, the work of God as a means of union with God. Monastic prayer, the spirit of abandonment to God's will. He was really big on, just a total abandonment to the divine will. There's a lot of people now getting interested in Luisa Picaretta in the Catholic world, and that's all about just surrendering each day, at the start of each day and at the end of each day, to the divine will. Lord, I desire to live in your divine will. I desire the gift of your divine will. Help me to surrender my human will to you, and help me to live, breathe, and operate. Help me to pray in your divine will. And then the peace of Christ. And who's not needing that, eh? So, fantastic book. Highly recommended. A new edition is out on Amazon currently.